This is the AM News. Let's start from some health stories because Ghana has officially recorded its first case of the respiratory disease human metapneumovirus, that is the HMPV. The World Health Organization recently reported a surge in cases of the flu-like human metapneumovirus in China, which has raised fears of another COVID-style pandemic. According to Health Minister Kwabena Mintah-Kando, the government is on top of the situation in a bid to prevent a nationwide outbreak. We'll get you more on that shortly, but first, Health Minister Kwabena Mintah-Kando has been providing an update on the recent cholera and meningitis outbreak. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante reports.
In the last 6 months, Ghana has been witnessing a surge in cholera cases as well as meningitis, particularly in the northern part of the country. Last week, Health Minister Kwabena Mintah-Kando was ordered by the Speaker of Parliament to appear before the House and brief MPs on the situation. Kwabena Mintah-Kando complied with this directive and today provided an update in terms of the cholera situation across the country.
As of 13 February 2025, we have recorded 6,145 cases, 719 confirmed cases, and unfortunately 49 deaths. Despite worrying situation in the central region, Mr. Speaker, I bring encouraging news. New cholera cases are decreasing, and the districts of Agona West and Efutu, which were initially hard hit, are now showing a decline in new cases. Mr. Speaker, as of 16 February, only central region had active cases.
There is also the matter of meningitis, which the minister explained government is on top of the situation and is dealing with it.
In the current season, as of Sunday, 16 February, we had recorded over 129 cases and unfortunately 16 deaths, while 29 people are currently on admission. Our efforts are paying off, Mr. Speaker. Already a wave of improvement is evident in the Upper West region, where new meningitis cases are decreasing. This positive change follows the Ministry of Health's swift and decisive actions, which included deploying experts to support local teams.
Still on the health front, though, the health minister confirmed that Ghana has had its first case of HMPV. This is a respiratory disease that is fueling concerns that the world may be returning to COVID-style lockdowns.
Human metapneumovirus. Mr. Speaker, we have also identified a single case of human metapneumovirus, HMPV, in the country. Human metapneumovirus, HMPV, is a respiratory virus that can cause a range of respiratory illness from mild cold-like symptoms to severe pneumonia. While it can affect people of all ages, it is most commonly seen in young children, older adults, and those with weakened immune system. In response to recent increase in respiratory cases in China and some temperate countries in December 2024, as part of our routine surveillance, we commenced testing for human metapneumovirus HMPV this year in January 2025. So far, a total of 90 samples have been selected for testing, and only one positive case has been detected for HMPV. This was detected from an elderly person. Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the House that the risk of HMPV in Ghana remains low.
Reacting to this statement, Minority Leader Alexander Afejo-Markin pushed for more vaccination in the Efutu constituency, which has become one of the main hotspots for cholera outbreak in the country.
The statement, he said that the infection rate in the central region has Efutu topping, which is true. However, in terms of vaccination, his submission points to the fact that they are yet to get approval for Efutu. I felt that that should rather be prioritized, because if Agona West is recording just 6 and you have 18 in Efutu and you are rather vaccinating in Agona West, you may have to look at it.
The health minister ultimately has been assuring the House that the government is on top of the situation when it comes to these public health emergencies. According to Kwabena Minta Kando, enough measures have been put in place to ensure that we do not see a countrywide outbreak leading to so many deaths which are preventable. Reporting for Joy News, my name is Kweku Asante from Parliament House, Accra.
The Ghana Journalists Association has called on President John Dramani Mahama to fulfill his campaign promises of protecting journalists. This appeal follows a series of attacks on media personnel, including Joy News' Erastus Asare Donko and Oheming Tewia, in their fight against illegal mining. The GJA also referenced recent assaults on journalists in the Ashanti region during the Council of State elections. Speaking at a press conference, GJA President Albert Jumfor urged President Mahama to personally intervene and ensure that perpetrators are held accountable. Despite assurances from the Ghana Police Service regarding the progress on investigations, the GJA has announced plans to escalate the matter to the ECOWAS court.
Following attacks on journalists during the Council of State elections in the Ashanti region and also attacks on 2 journalists in Wale Wale, as well as attacks on Erastus Asare Donko and Ohemi Tewia, who are both journalists at Multimedia, during their visits at some illegal mining sites, President of the Ghana Journalists Association has called on President John Dramani Mahama to ensure investigations are thoroughly done and also perpetrators are brought to book.
We wish to take this opportunity to appeal to one of our own, senior member of this fraternity, the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, to take a personal interest in these cases as the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces and ensure that the perpetrators are arrested, arraigned, and punished for their crimes.
President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Kwabena Jumfor, also gave an update on the Ahmed Swale and other journalists who were murdered. According to the president, despite assurance from the Ghana Police Service, specifically the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Ekufu Dampare, the association will head to court if the Ghana Police Service failed to meet the deadline given.
The IGP gave me heartwarming assurances in dealing with these issues. And to that extent, we wish to highly commend him. While holding the assurances of the IGP in good faith, we still remain faithful to our demands, and that if we don't see or hear anything concrete from the police after the end of March 2025, we shall proceed to the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice.
Reporting for Joy News, Collins Frimpong.
In today's episode of Climate Focus, the Forestry Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, in partnership with the Forestry Commission, has organized a one-day workshop for stakeholders in the Bono East region on sustainable small-scale woodlot management for bioenergy and rural livelihood improvement. The workshop, according to the Deputy Director for the Institute, Professor Emmanuel Opuni Frimpong, aims at equipping charcoal producers with the necessary knowledge and skills to efficiently manage small-scale woodlots as a means of mitigating environmental impact. And Asabit tells us more.
Wood fuel, primarily charcoal and firewood, has over the years been the main source of energy for cooking for 2/3 of households in sub-Saharan Africa and is a critical element in maintaining food security. With millions of households depending on wood fuel production to make a living, a heavy reliance on it makes environment and health concerns, and with many governments focusing on bans and restrictions of the commodity, there is a need for policy makers as well as researchers to undertake demand-driven research, build capacity and promote the application of technologies for sustainable management of forest resources for the benefit of society. As a result, the Forestry Research Institute of Ghana under the CSIR is implementing a project to enhance sustainable woodlot management for bioenergy production in Ghana. Professor Emmanuel Opuni Frimpong is a professor of forest health and a deputy director at the institute.
Today, based on the views that we have tapped in here with the discussion that has gone on, it's clear that the project is going to go a long way to support sustainability of the charcoal business, sustainability of woodlot establishment, for us to achieve the objective for which the funds has been given to us.
Professor Opuni Frimpong further emphasized that the project, aside its social and economic benefits, will go a long way in helping the country's agenda of climate change mitigation, as it encourages people to plant trees for charcoal production instead of depleting the forest for that same purpose.
If people accept this principle of rather planting trees to burn charcoal instead of going into the forest reserves and the already forest cover to deplete it more, then it's going to help Ghana's agenda of contributing to climate change mitigation and reducing stress that climate change is putting on the total environment. So this project is, apart from going to support businesses in charcoal and wood fuel businesses, is also going to help to mitigate climate change and contribute to Ghana's sustainable development efforts.
Some of the participants, most of whom are stakeholders in the industry, underscored the relevance of the engagement and called for more engagements to help minimize the indiscriminate felling of trees for charcoal production.
Yes, I think that with the climate change and its impact on our lives, nobody should be told that indeed we should stop cutting trees indiscriminately. Again, from this project, we need to be conscious of planting trees and protecting them so that we will be able to help solve some of the environmental problems, the challenges that we are facing.
It should be a collaboration project, like between government and I know the government alone cannot take it up. So NGOs should help, whilst the government also holds another part. Yeah, for it to be sustainable, so that they will help a large number of group of people. Yeah, so it should be a collaborative work between the government and the NGOs for them to establish the woodlot.
The project also equips small-scale farmers and women groups with a comprehensive training curriculum, and trainees secure sustainable livelihoods while contributing to climate change mitigation. Anna Sabit, Joy News.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
In other stories, Chief Executive of the Ghana National Ambulance Service, Professor Ahmed Nuhu Zakaria, is urging state agencies to withstand the infiltration of partisanship and political influences in the discharge of professional duties. He warned that political interference could jeopardize and ultimately harm the public, while emphasizing the need to ensure the effectiveness of ambulance services in saving lives. He says allegiance to the state should be placed above party loyalty. Here's Clinton Yeboah's report.
Emergency medical services is one of the critical healthcare systems that responds to emergencies in need of highly skilled pre-hospital clinicians. The nature of EMS demands professionalism of players for an improved national health system. CEO of the National Ambulance Service, Professor Ahmed Nuhu Zakaria, expects staff with political associations to lobby for more resources to enhance service delivery and improve emergency medical services. His comment comes as some staff of state agencies allow their political lineages to cloud professionalism, especially with a change in government.
Professional bodies like this, the excitement in change should come with the ability to maximize their relationship with the new government, to mobilize resources. But most often, they tend to rather outdo each other, try to destroy each other. When it happens, the service suffers. But for example, assuming you and myself will belong to different parties, your party comes into power, what it means is that you should be able to lobby for resources. Then when the reverse happens, then the table turns and you will go and lobby for resources. If we do that, you will not even feel the impact of the change, because at all material times, the service rather will be the beneficiary. Oh, the secret is just to be professional as you can, because you see, first of all, your objective is to serve your country, to serve your God, to serve your country, and to serve the states. So most of the mistakes many CEOs make is that instead of them to owe allegiance to the states, they owe allegiance to parties. And that's where the mistake is. So if you're a responsible CEO, what you should do is that you should be able to identify the area that the government of the day wants to carry EMS, and you help them carry the agenda. As soon as you are perceived as working against them, that's when you are attacked. But seriously speaking, if you are really serving the country, making sure that the right thing is done, and at that time you become the technical advisor. I hope you understand. For example, my minister is in power now. Definitely I have to coach him and guide him so that as far as EMS is concerned, what is the best that his government can achieve out of the EMS system?
Professor Zakaria is, however, impressed that successive governments have respected the autonomy of the National Ambulance Service. He stressed that professionalism and commitment have instilled continuity and ensured development of the National Ambulance Service.
President Kufuor started 3 regions at a time. That was what the resources could provide. We had 7 stations. Through his tenure, we were able to work. We recruited more people. I hope you understand. President Mills came, then he also took over from where he left off. President Mahama started his first term. We continued with the EMS system. President Akufo-Addo came. We continued with the EMS system. So that continuity has helped the service grow, I hope you understand, in this astronomical manner. And at all times, if you check our history, we have always served the best, in our best capacity, the government of the day, and for that matter, the state. So you become selfless. You make sure that the right things are done, even if it means you have to sacrifice. Because you see, if we are able to help the country build its EMS, our health system improves. You understand? And the reason why for EMS, we should not even bring in politics is that it's one of the few places that it doesn't know party colors.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Fishmongers and canoe owners in Maury in the central region have raised concerns about the location of the premix fuel machine in their community. At a news conference held in Maury, the aggrieved fishfolk called on the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture to facilitate the machine's relocation, citing its current placement as a serious threat to the community and its members. They also questioned why community members were excluded from the decision-making process and demanded accountability from the ministry. Abigail Nkrumah has more in this report.
Uncle Sam is a canoe owner and the convener of the press conference. While addressing the fisherfolk of the Maury community in the Abrassebu-Kwamankese district of the central region, he stressed on accountability by the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture regarding the station of the premix fuel machine in the community.
Since the press conference in some of the Yantasi, about some of them are some of the what better to Masibiwa, Mori, Aya, Bia, Yiti, you know, come over for the year than Thomasino. Second, what the year you risk to do what the year than Thomasino. Abo, I know for neighboring or to train us. Yanti maybe a done, Yanti maybe I see. Ya can you be already done, Oriano? Now, what about I die? Young would die, and for flabber, the Southern for flabber, the Daniel catcher, Minister Wyden, what did he die? Yes, Lanara, a minimum way. I found for you, and use it in him. They are put it all there. The motor machine or the you is capable of the other, what the year. Some way, what they say about. I had a margin at the man, what I just start, but you is going to do number. No, because I need the margin, no other. Until you're a case of that, Minister Wabadi, you have not much time. Since you already the margin of this, I is capable of the other, what the year.
Some fishmongers also expressed their grievances and urged the ministry to intervene.
You're not feminist, you have more. Umawa farfu yayi abel afana ya choko ya chobapa eti abasa minister dabi bedara shara afiankan umawa fu afarfu ihenu mo ha da ambra ni yanu sika wazia de mo na meche ya afarfu mbesiafo me yin wako what the bread enti se me yin wako na wanko ne ya mbesiafo so ya bre ntumi na hwa mfamman enti me aka cha minister da he ya hwa afarfu yenya me ya hwa no wanpo anu. Yes, you show why you go to see Mufama with the go, Wabam paying for Mufama, which you trouble her, school her, and to the Madi of this year, yɛpɛ ha yɛpɛ no afɛmpa no na pɔtɔ yi wɛde abisi hwɛ bia yɛkyɛ yi dzigua mmɔfra no ne mpanyinfo no woyɛ wɔ ne nam baakyɛ bi yi me dɛ ne baabi gyina ha ne gwa yɛ ɔle so yɛde fa he he can to sit here and put in the thing ha yɛde fa he fa wɔn baabi yi dzigua wɔn baabi pɔtɔ splash wo twetwa mi ayɛ yɛ ankasa mɛmɛwɔman a fɔkiri gya yɛn nyɛ ɔde papaapa nkɔnkɔ mɛsafo yɛn nyɛ ɔde papaapa nkɔ mɛzan maase no wɔsɔ mpaano yɛpɛ.
From More, Abigail Nkrumah Isol's report for Joy News.
Moving on, residents of Ebusuaso in the Central District of the Ashanti region are protesting the activities of nomadic herdsmen in the community that has since destroyed vast farmlands. The aggrieved residents, who are primarily farmers, have over the years endured what they described as, quote, torture from the herders invading their source of livelihoods. The sway animals are said to have polluted the only water source in the area, forcing residents to purify water collected from the same source with chemicals like alum. 3 persons were reportedly arrested after allegedly killing a cattle flock which encroached their farms. Emmanuel Bright Kweku tells us more.
Residents of Esubuaso took to the streets of the community clad in red headgears and armbands, holding placards to vent their displeasure at the rampant destructions of their farmlands by herders. The community is known to be one of the food baskets in Central, producing various foodstuffs like cassava, plantains and other crops. But the farmers must contend with the transhumance, which is derailing their efforts to produce enough to feed themselves and make an earning. The aggrieved residents recount their ordeal with the nomadic herdsmen. The nomadic herdsmen have laid siege on our farms and community. When they meet you, they will signal their animals to attack you. Until they realize you are nearing your death, that's when they will signal them to stop hunting you. Yesterday, I went to the farm to get some firewood to camp cook, but the herders attacked me. The kids are scared to go to school. The only stream in the area used by residents for various domestic chores is now heavily polluted, partly attributable to the animals drinking from the stream. This alum is what we use to purify the dirty waters for use. My kids don't know how to go to the farm now. 3 persons were reportedly picked up by the police after killing some animals owned by the herdsmen. The residents are demanding the release of their colleagues and calling for an end to the herdsmen activities in the community. George Dapa is the leader of the aggrieved farmers. On Saturday, we heard the news that the 3 persons have been arrested by the police. The local authorities are aware of what is happening here. How do you arrest these innocent ones?
Committee for me and son so Nana Kana committee for so any movie, woman a dear nimu. And think a policy for Mampo commander, Ubaba chair. And yes, sir, game and wildlife, near assemblyman, no crown for our baby rest.
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel. Bright Kweku.
Samuel Kojobre serves you business update now.
Well, in business update on the AM News, let's start with the currency market. So that's how the currencies are performing in the market today. Away from that, Labour consultant Austin Game has blamed successive governments for failing to address issues of ghost names in the payroll system of public sector workers. This, he believes, is causing a major fiscal burden on government's expenditure. His concern is coming at a time the World Bank's latest public finance review is raising concerns over Ghana's public sector wage bill. Reacting to the development, Mr. Game described ghost names as the height of corruption, which ought to be dealt with holistically.
That is not supposed to be a problem. That is at the height of corruption. If the HR system were to be properly in place, we will not have that story to be told in Ghana here at all. It is pure, plain thievery and corruption. That's all. That's what it is. Any HR person worth his salt and well balanced would never support such a Tommy rot.
However, that the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies has threatened with actions against managers of the integrated customs management systems at the country's ports. According to the Chamber, consistent network breakdowns and other challenges are causing a lot of financial loss to members due to their inability to offload product on time, which in turn increases demurrage to members. Chairman of the Chamber, Gabriel Kumi, has been speaking with Joy Business on the situation.
If today I need some orders, I need to load products to my retail outlets, I have to place those orders through ICOM. So once the system is down, I cannot place my order. It's as simple as that. We don't have any problem if that system is making tax collection efficient. We support all that. But at the end of the day, we expect our members to have a trouble-free, no bottlenecks in placing orders. Your system should not be implemented in a way that will negatively affect our operations. That's all that we are saying. And we are calling on them to ensure that whatever bottlenecks, whatever the problem is, they resolve it and reserve it permanently. Because going forward, we have tolerated these hiccups for the past 1 year. Going forward, we may not have the necessary patience to continue tolerating that.
Well, let's wrap up the business update with what is happening in the commodities market. That's all in Business Update on the AM News. Back to you, Suti Abachi.
Thank you, Kojo, for serving us Business Update. Now let's get ready for the News Review segment because it's a wrap for the AM News. And those who join us for News Review, Dr. Kwame Asasante and Dr. Jibri Mohammed. They're joining us in a bit. Please stay with us.